Hi, and welcome to Average Fitness. My name is Ryan. You can find me on Facebook by typing in averagefitness@gmail.com in the search window, or clicking the link below in the summary section. Today I want to talk real quick about goals and objectives. This was touched on my last video where I answered somebody's mail, but I wanted to extrapolate a little bit further on this notion of what you want and what you're willing to do for it. Now, oftentimes I get asked questions pertaining to people's goals and what they want. Typically they want to lose weight. Either it's for looking good at the beach or having a six-pack. And I always find it curious as to why. So I ask these individuals, why exactly do you want to look good for the beach, and why exactly do you want to have a six-pack? Now, as silly as that question may seem, the answer is actually extremely complex and somewhat elusive as well. Most individuals aren't really sure why they want it. They just know that they kind of do. They have this sense that they are supposed to look a certain way, and that comes from a place, and that place, well, oftentimes it's attributed to the media. And while the media plays a part in it, it's not the media's fault necessarily. The media is nothing more than a mouthpiece of the culture at hand. The culture that we live in is what dictates physiological ideals, and those physiological ideals change from time to time. And this is something that is a concept that is as old as can be. This is something you can see as far back or even further back into the ancient Greeks with their divine proportions and their ideal physiology. You can see it in the sculptures of the ancient Greeks, and they had this idea of what a perfect looking human being would supposedly look like. And obviously people weren't going to get to that point, but it was always something that was hoped for and something that was worked toward. So this concept of having a physiological ideal is not a new concept. It's changed and evolved and it branded in a different way, but it's not new by any means. So what are we dealing with now? What we have right now is a culture that is opulent and corpulent, and it's kind of out of hand, but the ideal still exists. So how do we reconcile that with our needs and our daily lives? Well, essentially everybody wants to look like a top athlete, a physically fit, super lean, athletic individual. That's what you want to look like, or that's what most people want to look like. It's just that the question is, how do you get there, and how do you marry that to your life? Well, it's very difficult. First of all, for you guys, it's very difficult if you don't already have them naturally as a result of your high metabolism. It's very difficult to get and maintain visible abdominal muscles, and for women, it's no cakewalk to try to get that really athletic, tight look that you might necessarily want. And I would presume for both men and women, you probably look all right to begin with, but you want to push yourself to that next level, and that's perfectly fine. I completely understand that. So the next question, after they kind of stumble and stammer and not quite sure as to what the right answer or what the real answer is to why they want to look the way they want to look, I ask them, okay, well, clearly you have a desire to have this to look a certain way physically, and that's understandable. Now, what are you willing to do to get there? And for the most part, they think they're doing what they're supposed to be doing already. They think that they're going to the gym from time to time, maybe lifting some dumbbells, hitting the cardio machines for 1 or 2 hours, and then going home and eating healthy. Well, generally speaking, most people have no idea what eating healthy is, and it's really kind of a strange concept in and of itself. I could do an entire video on that. Actually, I probably will, come to think of it. And in terms of going to the gym, well, if you go to the gym and you presumably run for an hour and you burn, I don't know, 900 calories, you could walk across the street to the fast food joint, get a hamburger, and eat it in 5 minutes, and you've just consumed 1,000 calories. So you can't work out yourself out of the fat. You have to coincide that with proper nutrition, and that's not to say that you should diet in terms of dieting, meaning starving yourself. You shouldn't do that either. You got to make sure that you're getting the right nutrients and exercising on a consistent basis. And specifically, where it comes to having that physiological look that you want, guys, you want to be lean and muscular and you want to have abs, well, you have to change here first before any of this can change. You absolutely have to. And women, the same thing. You got to change here first. You got to change here first before any of this changes. You can't push yourself. You can't use vanity as the main source of your motivation. When I was doing the show, the whole reason I was able to get to the level of leanness that I was able to get to is because I knew that there was a reward at the end of it, and that reward was getting on stage. There were consequences to be had if I did not get lean enough, and there were rewards to be had if I did. And quite frankly, the fact that I would be gallivanting around on stage almost practically naked in front of my closest friends and family was a really big motivator to put down the cheeseburgers and pick up the lean chicken breast and eat the broccoli when I need to, and carbohydrate cycle and everything else I needed to do. And it was also a motivator to educate myself. You see, I gave myself a foil of sorts, and that foil was bodybuilding. And so what I suggest to most people is that you find that thing for yourself. Trying to look good for the beach and trying to get six-pack abs is just not going to cut it a couple of weeks into your program. It's just not enough. It honestly is not enough. It never is. So you have to become kind of a warrior about it. You have to find that thing inside that you really love, that you really want, and then that gives you the reason to train your muscles to make them larger or stronger, and that gives you the reason to throw your running shoes on in the morning and run when you're hungry and when you're thirsty and when you just want to go and eat a stack of pancakes with all kinds of maple syrup. It's these things, these driving forces, these things that you might want to do, like jiu-jitsu, martial arts, badminton, baseball, some sort of sports league of some kind, a yoga class or what have you. Something that you can use to give you the reason to push your body to the limit. Something that you can measure and something that is fun to do. So, like when I was a little kid, well, not a little kid, I mean back when I was in high school, I had martial arts and I practiced day in and day out, and I lifted and lifted and lifted to get stronger and bigger muscles. And the reason I did that was to get stronger from martial arts. It just so happened that I was ripped to shreds and had a very lean body mass as a result. But I didn't think about that. I was just having fun doing martial arts. So, in the end, find something that you love to do and use that as the reason to get in shape. Don't try to use getting in shape as the reason in and of itself, it won't hold you until the end. So that and try to make that a part of your lifestyle and make that a consistent part of it. So I am Ryan for Average Fitness. Thanks for checking me out. Remember my Facebook page. Give me a friend request down below by clicking the link. And thank you very much for checking me out. Have a good day.